Dirtle Magic. Thank you for tuning in to Dirtle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and dirtle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Dirtle Magic. Today we're playing some more Kardur the Doomscourge. Looking at our opening hand, one land does not cut it, especially if it's Temple of the False God. Let's go ahead and take that free mulligan. New hand, we do have 2 swamps and a Mind Stone. Could potentially draw into a red source, could draw a red source with the Mind Stone. We do have Agitator Ant, we do have Necromancy, we have the Valkyrie. Yeah, I think we could risk this one. Let's go ahead and keep our commander. 2 black-red for a legendary 4/3 Demon Berserker. When enters the battlefield until your next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than us if able. Whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Looks like we're going last. We have a, wow, I haven't seen one of these in forever, Copperline Gorge into play. That opponent is Stonebrow Crozen Hero. 3 red-green for a legendary 4/4 Centaur Warrior. Trample. Whenever a creature you control trample attacks, it gets 2/2 till end of turn. So this is from, as you see the symbol here, the original Time Spiral. Next up, we have Jorn, God of Winter / Cauldron the Rhyme Staff. 2 green for a legendary 3/3. Whenever it attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. For Cauldron the Rhyme Staff, 1 blue-black. Tap, you may play target snow permanent from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped. They have a Glasspool Shore come into play. The flip side is Glasspool Mimic. So it looks like it could be that cloning type of effect where they can get both out at the same time. That could be potentially very dangerous. Our last opponent with a Mountain and Skull Clamp into play, which we had in our opening hand, new addition to the deck, is Grenzo Havoc Raiser, red for a 2/2 Goblin Rogue. It is a rogue, by the way. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to the player, choose 1, go to target creature that player controls, or exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of the turn, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were a mana to cast that spell. Comes our turn, we get a swamp. Let's play a swamp and pass it off. We have no turn 1 plays. So Grenzo, I like. It's also in the deck. It's a decent card. The thing that I don't like about it is you can't play their lands, but I mean, it is a 2-drop, so you can't have everything, right? 2 Stonebrow, we have a Forest into play, followed by Mana Crypt. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's a lot of mana. Gruul Warplow coming down. So this is also from Guild Pact, I believe. Creatures you control trample 1 red-green. It becomes a 4/4 Juggernaut artifact creature until end of turn. That was rather swift for Stonebrow. I believe Gruul Warplow was like a thing in Standard at the time. Like there was a whole deck type around it, or deck archetype rather. Snow-covered Forest and a Farseek into play for Jorn. Let's see what they get. A technical non-forest, of course. Woodland Chasm into play. So looking at the decks here, Jorn could be problematic just because they can tap down some stuff. Stonebrow would be really good to manipulate into attacking other people. Grenzo also has that on us though, because it has goad built in. So that's a bit too bad, but we'll see how things go. Seagate Wreckage into play for them, so not another red source. That is very interesting. Comes our turn, we get yet another swamp. Okay. Well, let's play the swamp, get down the Mind Stone, and pass it off to our opponents. Over to Stonebrow's turn, Mana Crypt will do the triggering. Let's see if they get the bonk. They do get the bonk, down to 37. Still though, gonna have 6 mana this turn if they drop a land. Not too shabby. Oh, what's this, Pathway? No, Songmad Ruins. Okay, so they can also steal stuff. It might be a thing in the deck. We'll have to be careful about that. Hornbash Mentor. Bit of a trample tribal. I mean, the commander totally rewards for trample, so I don't see why not. So this one has trample because of the Warplow. Enters the battlefield, put trample counter on target non-human creature you control. They currently have no non-human creatures. 2 green tap, put 1 counter on each creature you control trample. Over to Jorn's turn, we have a snow-covered swamp into play. I do love the frames for these. They're fantastic. Replicating Ring. That's not too bad. It can be really bad later, but somebody's going to have removal by then, I wager. Rampant Growth, they're going to ramp some more. Snow-covered Island into play this time. Over to Grenzo's turn. Let's see if they get that second red source. Oh, they drop nothing this turn. Okay. We get Canyon Sloth. Nice. There's the battlefield tab, but it does give us a red source. But let's play a swamp for now and get down our Eradicator Valkyrie. And we'll pass it off to our opponents. Next turn, probably play our commander depending on what comes down. I imagine at the very least Stonebrow is going to play some stuff. Jorn might come down, or they might play something else first. Grenzo just needs a second red source at this point. Stonebrow, Mana Crypt triggered. They won the flip. No damage. First Band Thromper. Inspired, whenever it becomes untapped, put 1/1 counter on it. Wait a minute. So, Centaur. This is a human, right? Okay. So, Warrior, Warrior, Warrior. I wonder if there's a Warrior sub-theme. They're on the attack. It's off into the Jorn player. That would be my first concern as well at the moment. Damage is good against Jorn. They are down to 37. Off to Jorn's turn. Blue Sun's Zenith for 2. They are making Grenzo draw some cards. Trying to help them out with the red sources. I can appreciate that. I would do the same, except we're more about manipulating combat and murdering our opponents somehow. So, not the best deck for that. We do have Vargoth, so we can help them tutor something, if it comes to that. Sylvan Library coming down for Jorn. Card selection is always good. Jorn down to 2 cards in hand, though. Over to Grenzo's turn. We have a Tectonic Edge into play. Oof. They will have to discard a card at the end. It is a Skyfire Phoenix. Comes to our turn, we get another Swamp. Let's play the Canyon Sloth. Do we want to sacrifice the Mind Stone to draw a card? No, probably not yet. Do we want to attack anywhere? Not yet. We don't want to do that here. Let's leave the Valkyrie up for defense. It'll at least trade with the Tramplers so far. And then next turn, if we could get down our commander and force some attacks, maybe we'll have an opening there. Plus, then we also get the Boast ability to sacrifice our commander and then recur it again. Mana Crypt triggered. They lost the flip. They take 3 more damage, down to 34 over on Stonebrow's side. Stonebrow coming down. So we'll be able to absorb some of the damage, but not too much of it then. When their creatures attack, if they have trample, they get that 2/2 bonus. Alright, 1 into Jorn, 1 into us. That's fine. Both of those creatures will get the 2/2 bonus. I think we'll actually just take the 5 here. Keep the Valkyrie up for some life gain later. Damage is good. We're down to 35. Jorn down to 32. Over to Jorn's turn. Replicating Ring will trigger. This will be the second time. I forgot to mention it the first time. And I'll stop saying that until it's destroyed or removed. We also have the first trigger for Sylvan Library. They draw no extra cards with it. So still 2 cards in hand after the draw. Jorn, God of Winter coming down. So potentially when it attacks, they'll be able to untap all their snow permanents, which includes the Replicating Ring. Blizzard Spectre also coming down. I did find that card to be a little lackluster in our Jorn series. If you want to check that out, go ahead and look at that. But I think we got Blizzard Spectre out once. We didn't even really get to use it because it got stolen and cloned and stuff. I do find it a little bit lackluster though. Just looking over here at Grenzo's side. Has Flying in Haste, the Skyfire Phoenix in the graveyard. And when you cast your commander, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Might be a nice addition to this deck. If only it had done something else. But still might be a decent addition. I'll have to keep my eye on it. Over to Grenzo's turn, we have a Nixos Shrine to Nyx into play. Oh, they're just hitting all those colorless sources. That sucks. I do wish we could help them out. Phyrexian Altar, so if they get a creature down, at least they'll be able to generate some red mana. Could be stealing stuff out of that deck too, so we'll have to be careful. Comes our turn, we get Arcane Signet. That works for me, another red source, even if it is more easily destroyed. Let's play a Swamp and get down the Arcane Signet. And then we will cast our commander. Comes into play, we get the Super Goad. Well, let's go to attacks. I want to attack Stonebrow this time since they can't retaliate next turn. So that'd be nice. Then we can sack our commander and get it back with Necromancy. I think next turn we'll swing into Jorn's face though. Damage is good. Stonebrow player down to 30. We gain 4 life up to 39. Let's pass it off. We have a couple of triggers on the upkeep. The Ferris Band Tromper is going to get larger. With Trample, that's not my favorite. Mana Crypt will also trigger. Stonebrow wins the flip. They remain at 30. Kenrith's transformation. Jorn is being transformed into an elk. Stonebrow player will also draw a card. Gruul Turf into play for Stonebrow. They will have to bounce a land back to their hand. Stonebrow has to attack. So I imagine they'll send it mostly in Jorn's way. Maybe one towards Grenzo. But nobody really wants to dish on them yet. They're just not able to play the game. Alright, we have an attack. All the triggers. We'll wait for those to resolve, well then we'll see where they're going. Oh, we have Lightning Axe out of Grenzo. Onto the Stonebrow itself. Okay, so was it going at them, I wonder? We have a response out of Stonebrow as well. Let's see what it is. We have Chaos Warp, they're targeting their commander. Alright, so they're going to save it from dying at least. Chaos Warp, it must be a non-permanent on top of their deck. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, both attacks are into Grenzo, so they attack Grenzo with everything? That's interesting. Damage is good. Grenzo down to 29. Over to Jorn's turn. Let's see what they do with it. 4 cards in hand after the draw. It does look like that they took some cards, or at least one card, off the Sylvan Library. Let's see what they'll do with it. Jorn is currently an elk. It will have to attack regardless and not attack us, which is nice. Hailstorm Valkyrie. I love the R on this card. I love this card in simplicity. It's one of my favorites. Also, it's an Angel Wizard in case you need a party. So, there's that. Angel and Wizard doesn't really jive with me. Like, if it was Angel Cleric, I could get it, but Wizard is weird to me. You let me know what you think in the comments. Alright, so all their creatures have to attack if able, so the Hailstorm Valkyrie would attack if it had haste. Let's see where the attack is going. Both off into the Stonebrow player. That works for me. Damage is good. Stonebrow down to 25. Blizzard Spectre will trigger. Target player returns a permanent they control their owner's hand. The problem is they get to choose which permanent, so it's not the best. They return the Mana Crypt. Yeah, it costs 0. I don't see why not. Over to Grenzo's turn, we have Stromkirk Occultist. I'm not familiar with this one too much. 2 red, 3/2. Trample. Whenever it deals combat to a player, exile top card of the library. Until end of turn, you may play that card, and it has Madness. Okay. Skull Clamp being equipped, so when it dies, they'll draw 2 cards. Speaking of drawing cards, I added even more card draw to this deck, and we still haven't seen any. Unless you count Mind Stone. Thematic Compass. Let's play a Swamp. So we can attack this turn, probably off into the Stonebrow player, potentially off into the Jorn player just to get rid of their creature, but we are sacrificing our commander to the Valkyrie and then recurring it, and then we'll have 3 mana left over. Maybe play the Agitator Ant. Could be a thing. Let's go to combat. Let's attack 1 each to the Jorn and to the Stonebrow player. The unfortunate thing about Kardur is he doesn't have flying. Alright, we have an interception. That's fine with me. Damage is good. Hailstorm Valkyrie down. Stonebrow down to 21. Alright, let's boast about it. We will sacrifice our commander. We will not put it back into the command zone. Now each opponent will have to sacrifice a creature or a planeswalker. Grenzo will sacrifice their creature, but they do get 2 cards for it. So, we're helping the Rakdos way? Skull Clamp triggers. So actually, I've been thinking about, let's get down the Thematic Compass instead. That way we can get another land out of our deck hidden list so we don't draw one. I've drawn a lot of swamps though. And then let's go ahead and reanimate our commander. And it comes into play Super Goads, and we'll pass it off. Over to Stonebrow's turn, the Band Thromper will get larger. Mana Crypt coming back down for the Stonebrow player. We have Vandal Blast. Oh, man, I was going to draw a card with the Mind Stone. That hurts. Well, there goes all of our stuff. We do still have 6 mana, so that's nice. Unfortunately, I did want to get Kazal down next turn. Now we're a bit short. It's a sadness. The Ferris Band Thromper does have to attack. Into the Jorn player, that works for me. Damage is good. Jorn down to 19. Over to Jorn's turn, tapping down some mana, we have a Baleful Strix. There's the battlefield. Jorn will draw a card. Jorn, God of Winter, coming back down for that player. Blizzard Spectre will have to attack. It's off into the Grenzo player. Damage is good. Grenzo down to 27. Let's see what mode they pick for the Blizzard Spectre. They're choosing that player discards a card. Nice of them not to have them to force the bounce a land at this point. Grenzo discards Extraplanar Lens. Yeah, I don't. That card needs a reprint. It's pretty expensive. Although I am very much over the mana doubling abilities of mostly green, but just about anything. Over to Grenzo's turn. 6 cards in hand after the draw. Hopefully a mountain or red source. A second mountain in the play for Grenzo. Excellent. Grenzo Havoc Razor to the stack. Skyfire Phoenix will trigger. Skyfire Phoenix to the battlefield. Swift Boots coming down. Alright, so if they equip it to Grenzo, at least they can't attack us. So that's going to be nice. It is getting equipped to Grenzo. Okay, we have an attack. Both of them off into Stonebrow. That works out. Although Jorn is starting to build somewhat of a presence here. Damage is good. Stonebrow down to 16. 2 Grenzo triggers. They will goad their only creature to not attack them and exile the top card of the library. It's Rampage of the Clans. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. For each permanent destroy this way, its controller makes a 3/3 green centaur creature. Okay. Actually, that would kind of work out if they were able to cast it. Although our commander would die. Comes our turn, we get Meteor Golem. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do at the moment. We can't summon Meteor Golem, and we can't summon Kazal. So I guess Agitator Ant just for the extra lulls of it. And let's go combat. Let's go ahead and swing our commander at Grenzo and our angel at Stonebrow. Damage is good all around. Grenzo down to 23, Stonebrow down to 12. We gain 4 life up to 47. Do we want to sacrifice our commander? I think we probably do, just to get rid of some creatures here. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'll put our commander back in the command zone this time. Blizzard Spectre goes down. Skyfire Phoenix goes down. That's fine though. And the, was it Band Thromper goes down? That works out. Let's pass it off. At the end step, Agitator Ant will trigger. And it says, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature they control. Goad each creature that had counters put on it this way. So we'll put 2 1/1 counters on... Let's put it on the Ant. Spread out our power a little bit. Oh, we have 4 counters? Why is that happening? I don't know why Agitator Ant just added 4 counters instead of the 2. But okay, it is the largest ant I've ever seen besides Ant Queen. Stonebrow loses the flip for Mana Crypt. They are down to 9. It looks like Grenzo took up the Agitator Ant's offer to increase their commander size as well. Jorn did not. Still, they got 2 counters. Wait a minute. Being your step, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature they control. Goad each creature that counters put on it this way. I still don't know why we got 4 counters instead of 2. You let me know in the comments if I'm missing something, because clearly I'm missing something. Dowsing Shaman coming down for Stonebrow, so Centaur Tribal maybe? In your case, it does trample thanks to the Gruul Warplow. 2 green tap, return target enchantment card from graveyard to your hand. Over to Jorn's turn, land into play, 3 cards in hand otherwise. So let's see what they can do. They do have a lot of lands, so that's a lot of mana. But what do they have in their hand is what scares me the most. No attacks out of Jorn, nothing played, so I imagine some instants or removal. To Grenzo's turn, we have a Spine Rock Null into play. That was in this deck. I think we saw it in one of the games. I did take it out. A lot of times we just weren't dealing enough damage, and when we had the opportunity to play the card, if there was enough damage dealt, it was tapped down for mana, so I did take it out of this deck. Grenzo Hideaway's a card. Grenzo got agitated by an ant. It will have to attack. Off into the Stonebrow player. Indeed, indeed. Let's see if they block it. Grenzo is a 4/4. Their Centaur is a 3/4. They are, in fact, going to intercept. The Dowsing Shaman is down. No damage gets through the Stonebrow. Second main phase, we have a Smuggler's Copter for Grenzo. Nice little card draw there, especially if you're playing vehicles or even if you're just playing some aggressive colors. Sheevan Harvest, sacrifice a creature, destroy target non-basic land. Oh, that's interesting. That's it for Grenzo. Going to roll over to us. Hopefully we get some card draw because we desperately... Well, Xantcha. Yeah, you know, okay. It's card draw. I'll take it. Plus, it has to attack other people. So we could play Xantcha, potentially kill Stonebrow this turn, and then draw a card and have somebody lose 2 life. I'm going to give Xantcha the Jorn. I don't want to necessarily. I have a feeling I should be giving it to Grenzo, but Jorn does have the Death Touch flyer. So based on the knowledge I have, ignoring my gut feeling, I'm giving Xantcha to Jorn. Let's go to combat. Do we want to take out Stonebrow, though? They do have some mana up, so that's an option for a Fog. I don't want to be hit by Grenzo necessarily either, but we are pretty healthy. Sure, let's just go for it. We'll take Stonebrow out of the game, or at least attempt to. Stonebrow's out, -1. Good game to Stonebrow. Alright, we do gain 4 life up to 51. Second main phase, let's go ahead and draw a card with Xantcha. We get Ghost Quarter, not terribly helpful, but let's play it for the turn anyway, and pass it off to our opponents. At the end of turn, Agitator Ant will trigger. We'll put it on the Valkyrie, I suppose. Make her a little bit tougher against damage-based removal. Xantcha's getting 2 counters. Will Grenzo take more counters, or will they hit us? They do not agree to the deal. I imagine they're going to hit us with it. Still into turn, Jorn drawing a card with Xantcha. It looks like they're going to draw a lot of cards, too. But they can take the life. So, I guess that was a better decision than I initially thought. Especially if it brings them down within kill range to one of the other players. Specifically not us, so we can leave up our resources. Jorn's turn, 7 cards in hand after the draw and Sylvan Library. And after all those Xantcha activations. Let's see what they can do with it. They did draw a lot of cards. Land into play. Spirit of Aldegard. I love that card. Spirit and a bear for all you Spirit and bear lovers. It's also going to be huge. It's 11-4. When enters the battlefield, they search the library for Snowland as well. Sascha is being activated again. And again. Jorn is down to 3 life. Alright, we have Jorn himself on the attack, along with Sascha off into the Grenzo player. I imagine Jorn is into us. Oh, it's into Grenzo. Okay. They do get to untap all of their Snowlands, though, with 8 cards in hand, so yeah, that could be super dangerous. Sascha Sleeper Agent being activated again. Jorn down to 1. Blue Sun Zenith for 2, targeting Grenzo. Oh, how very nice of them. Now, we did see that earlier. It does have a shuffle it back into the deck clause. Sascha Sleeper Agent being activated again. Jorn taking themselves out of the game? Alright, Jorn is down. Good game to our opponent. I do want to blow up that hideaway land. I just don't know if I need to. That's the problem, because I'd rather keep up the mana, so let's just pass it off. Jorn was saying in chat that player had only a Swan Song in all lands. Grenzo not going to be able to goad us, but they will be able to exile our stuff. So that takes a little bit of pressure off of us just so we can attack into Grenzo. We'll see what happens though. Their turn, by the way, land into play, 4 cards in hand. They also can still blow up our non-basic land if they want to sack a creature, which gets rid of our red entirely, which is very problematic at this point. We have Dowsing Dagger. Yeah, that's going to be good. Turns into... oh, we get plants. How nice. It turns into, what, basically a Gilded Lotus? Let's look at the art here. Yeah, decent plant. I wish they did something more creative with the Saplings. I did like the ones from Dominaria. Smuggler's Copter is getting crude. Dowsing Dagger is equipped to the Smuggler's Copter. Smuggler's Copter on the attack. We cannot defend against it. Whenever it attacks or blocks, they may draw a card. If they do, they discard a card. So let's see what they're going to discard. They discard Reforge the Soul. Ah, too bad. I would have loved a new hand. Alright, again, we have no flying blockers, so we'll take the 5, and then we will get probably our top card exiled. There it is, we are down to 46. 2 triggers, again, Gilded Lotus, and the exile trigger, most likely. Goad won't do anything in 1v1. High Market is the exiled card. That works for me. We have enough lands at the moment. I would love another red source of some kind if it's a land, but I also need some gas. Or any of the new card draw I put in. Neheb the Eternal. Uh-oh. That could potentially be a lot of mana, especially if they take us up on the offer of the Agitator Ant. Ooh, Swiftfoot Boots. Not the best. Alright, they're done. Let's roll it over to us, see what happens. Mizizium Mortars. We can potentially do 12 damage to our opponent right now, but not much more. We also have our Commander, which at this point is just a blocker. We also have Meteor Golem to destroy something. Unfortunately, Neheb is protected by the boots. I think at this point, we get down Meteor Golem, because they do have the ability to blow up our lands, our non-basic lands, so let's just go ahead and do that. Meteor Golem comes into play. Let's get rid of the Smuggler's Copter, I'm thinking. That way we take some of the card advantage away. Let's go to attacks. And we will attack with the Valkyrie and the Ant. Damage is good. Grenzo down to 11. We can bust through one more time. We should be good. To the end of the turn, the Ant will trigger. Let's put the counters on a plant token just so we have some extra defense. Alright, they do put the counters on the Neheb. It's a 6/8. As long as we can chump block it, I'm not worried. The reason I put the counters on the plant was in case they have something like a Pyroclasm or an Anger of the Gods. That way one of our plants can survive to block at the very least. I could have also done it to Meteor Golem, but Meteor Golem will survive the 2 damage sweepers over the plants. So now I have 2 potential blockers in case that happens. Chandra Flamecaller coming down for Grenzo. Oh, so that's a sweeper. Crud. I do like this Planeswalker a lot though because it has a sweeping thing built in. It also has a wheeling-like effect and it can put pressure on your opponents, especially if it's 1v1 like this. So this is not something I wanted to see right now. Not at all. Chandra X equals 4. She hits the bin, but so does everything we had to defend ourselves. That stinks. I'm just having a nice chat with the people in, well, chat. They're aware that I might be recording and things, so just having a nice conversation there, telling them, you know, I'm not roasting here to roast anybody. It's all good, all fun. That's what we're here for. Casual Commander play that's entertaining and fun for everyone. Well, as much as possible, because there are bad games. Grenzo coming back down for that player. I was intentionally not killing Grenzo just so they couldn't have the Skyfire Phoenix back. So that also didn't work out too well. On the bright side, none of their stuff has Vigilance. So if they do end up attacking with everything, we have a clear shot at them as long as whatever is under Spine Rock Null doesn't kill us. Full attack. So yeah, I'm really worried about that Hideaway card. Okay, that's going to be a lot of free red mana too, so I'm also worried about that. We have 3 exile triggers. Nice synergy between Neheb and Grenzo. I do like both cards. I never could bring myself to build an Aheb Eternal EDH deck, though, just because they kind of play samesies. But is a really strong card if you can manage to put it in the 99. Ooh, Feed the Swarm. Okay. That's not good, because that's... Oh, and Blasphemous Act. Oh, no. That didn't turn out very well at all. Yep, there's Spinerock Knoll. Insurrection. So, Insurrection steals our guys, which doesn't really matter at this point, but it does untap all of their creatures, which is the much more problematic thing. Oh, and they're also sacrificing them. Alright. I think that's game for us, though. Even with the high life total, unless we get some card draw, I don't think we're getting out of this one. Yep, there goes our other land. We're also going to need to get a red source. Yeah, going back to when I was chatting with the players in the chat, when I play Magic, I don't always record videos. So if you see me online and I'm playing a deck from the new set, I could just be testing it. I could just be having fun. You know, don't assume I'm recording if you run into me. Although, I hope I run into you out there. Play some Magic together. We get Ugin the Ineffable. 1 mana short too. Oof. Alright, let's just pass it off. Unfortunately, I mean, that's something I add to increase the card draw, but it's not something that was with that intention. After our last video, when the other Rakdos player played, I'm trying to remember the commander they used. Oh, it was a Valky, T-Bolt, Cosmic Imposter, the flip card. And I got it for destroying enchantments. So that's why it's in here, not so much for the card draw, it's just a nice bonus. So we're getting closer to the card draw, but will we survive that long? I don't know. Full attack into us again, nothing we can do about that. We're going to be taking 11, we'll go down to 30. They will get 11 free red mana to their mana pool. Well, I say free, it's essentially free at this point. Let's see what they exile from our deck this time, hopefully get us into something good otherwise. Emberwild Captain, oh no, card draw! It gives you the Monarch, and Viserys here, so... Play the Viserys here, play the Emberwild Captain, have a lot of fodder. Yeah, that's not the best. I was hoping they'd run into a block of our lands, really. Emberwild Captain coming down. They will become the Monarch. Viserys here also coming down. I mean, why not at this point? Tons of free mana. They also have Seagate, what is this, Reggage? But you can only draw a card if you have no cards in hand, so they could potentially play a card then draw a card. Not to mention they'll get a card on the instep because of the Monarchy. Underworld Breach. Great red card, fantastic. I don't like seeing it right now though. So they could resummon Chandra and start doing some elementals. Plus, at this point, it's also her 0 just draws a card, so that's pretty good. Ugin the Spirit Dragon coming down for the Grenzo player. That is removal on a stick. Different than Ugin the Ineffable. This one is kind of like a mass board wipe and then targeted removal, but the ultimate's pretty good. I figure if we're not dead in a turn, we'll probably just give it to him, especially if we don't get any card draw, especially if we don't get a board wipe, which is unfortunate because I did add more removal to the deck as well, which we'll see at the end of the video and the deck tech. Chandra Flamecaller also coming down. Still one of my more favorite Chandra Planeswalkers. They'll discard all the cards in their hand and draw that many +1, so they draw 1 card. Ugin dealing 3 damage to us. Slap in the face. Everflowing Chalice, kick 3 times. I've been seeing this a lot lately too. It's kind of like every time I go through a series on a commander, there's just this card that keeps showing up. I think the last time it was it Bazaar of Baghdad or something? Seagate Wreckage activation, they'll draw a card. End of the turn, Underworld Breach will trigger. It'll go bye-bye. But they also draw another card for the Monarchy. Going to roll over to our turn, let's see what we draw. It's a swamp. Man, the deck really likes swamps today. So we do get Ugin out of it. We could destroy a permanent that's 1 or more colors. I don't know how that's going to really help us, but I don't like to give up without something. So Ugin is most likely going to die. We could put up a blocker and get a card out of it, but we're still mana short and colors short on all of our removal. Yeah, let's just go ahead and exile the top card, make a blocker, and hope it's something fantastic. So it is Disciple of Bolas. That's not terribly helpful. Let's pass it off. Ugin is dealing 3 damage to our spirit. We get Disciple of Bolas. Chandra with the elementals. Yep, this is how you pressure out opponents. So they have, let's see what the potential is here. 10, 15 plus 7 would be 22. So we'll be down to 5 with them having 2 cards in hand. Yeah, so we might survive the turn if they attack us and not Ugin. If Ugin survives, we get card draw. Alright, let's see where the attacks are going. Alright, so we do have 2 into Ugin, that's fine. So we'll be taking 4 less. potentially will go down to 6, I believe. Oh, we're going down to 10. Sorry, math not happening very well in my brain at the moment. We have a number of Grenzo triggers. Grenzo is such a nice card. I like that it has that, like, Lord effect, if you will, of exiling the top card. Not currently, mind you, but I do enjoy the card's design. Ooh, Blood Artist. So they could, if they want to sacrifice their whole board, they could potentially kill us pretty quick here. That's a thing. At the very least, they could sacrifice the Elemental's Chandra Maid, because they do go away at the end of the turn. Hero's Downfall, that's some of the new removal in the deck. Kalahan's Command. Vandal Blast. Yeah, that sets us back so much from Stonebrow. And Rogue's Passage. Neheb will trigger for 17 free red mana. Kalahan's Command does only to creatures, I believe. No, any target. So they could deal 2 damage to us and force us to discard a card. Let's see. Then Blood Artist, sacrifice the 2 things. We'll be taking 4 at that point. Could potentially sacrifice everything else they have too, just to wipe us off the table. Kalahan's Command, yeah, we're taking 2 and we'll discard a card. Let's discard Mizizium Mortars. I just don't think we're getting that today. Blood Artist coming down. Okay, straight to the end of turn. They can still sacrifice the tokens in response to the trigger. Let's see if they do that. They do not, and they do go into exile, so Blood Artist does not trigger. Comes our turn, we get Grave Upheaval. Oh, that would be so much better with a red source. Sad face. Although I don't know what we get back at this point. They got back all of their best stuff. We have Meteor Golem. Let's just play Disciple of Bolas, I suppose. When there's the battlefield, we have to sacrifice another creature, so we cannot sacrifice it to itself, unfortunately. And we'll pass off the turn. This should be a good game. Ugin the Spirit Dragon dealing 3 damage to our Disciple of Bolas. Well, the flavor's on point. Blood Artist will trigger. We'll be drained for 1 life. Grenzo to the attacks. And full swing. And there it is. We are at -9. I'm actually going to give it to the Jorn player. They helped Grenzo out with some card draw when they didn't have to. And I do want to encourage that kind of casual style of play. Alright, and there it is. We get 1 point. Everybody gets some points. Nice. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. Good game to our opponents, since now I don't get to write that in the chat because it locks us out for whatever reason. Let's go take a look at the deck, like I said. See where the card draw and all that stuff is. I added some. I just want to show you what's there. Alright, here's the deck. Added Ugin the Ineffable for some extra enchantment removal. Took out the Navy Disc. I think I said that last time. Just wanted to point that out again. It's not necessarily there for the card draw, it's there for the enchantment removal. However, drawing cards is nice when the spirits die. I also added Sign in Blood, which is over here. It does say target player 2, so that's something where we can maybe make a deal. I also added Read the Bones. Scry 2, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Both of those make us lose life. And then I also added Ancient Craving, which is we draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. You know, black style of draw. And this is all on top of, you know, Ugin, which is now in the deck. Xantia, Phyrexian Arena, Grim Harvest. I just don't know where all the card draw was. We also have Harvester of Souls for when creatures die, which would have been amazing. We have our own Grenzo in the deck here, so we can goad and exile stuff to get cards from other people. So, my thoughts on the deck are this. Kardur is a really interesting commander, but I don't think in the end you want to lean too heavily into the goad mechanic itself. Perhaps just recurring him over and over again is the ideal, and I did try to achieve that here with some sacrifice outlets like Falconwrath Aristocrat down here. That way she becomes indestructible. I covered her last time. And just keep recurring him with repeatable recursion. Whip of Erebos could be something to add to the deck. Phyrexian Arena, or Phyrexian Reclamation is already in here, rather. Haunted Crossroads is in here. So I think that's the way you want to build Kardur. I'm not certain, again, that goading stuff is really where this deck really wants to be outside of its commander, because you always have access to your commander. Other than that, I do want to include some of the removal I added, which is Bedevil. We saw that used against us last game. It's a fairly flexible removal for Rakdos, so I did want to add, especially to deal with Planeswalkers, and that's why we also added Hero's Downfall. That way I can still deal with even more Planeswalkers. Other than that, for removal, we have Rakdos Charm, we have Kalahan's Command, we have other stuff like Feed the Swarm, which we do have to pay life for, which isn't the best, but also gets rid of enchantments, which is nice. Chaos Warp to answer just about anything. Meteor Golem. So we just didn't get that card draw, unfortunately, and couldn't keep up with our opponents. And again, we also got kind of wrecked by our stuff being stolen. So that was unfortunate, but we did hit that board wipe, and it was just downhill from there because, again, the card draw. Anyway, you can check out the full list in the description below. I'll link it down there. And of course, if you want to stay tuned for tomorrow for the deck tech, I'll be posting that up. And of course, it's only inspiration. Make changes to how you want. I think it's a great commander design. I just really don't think Goat is where you should go with it. In either case, if you saw any cards you want to purchase for yourself for your paper collection, sealed product, or perhaps gaming sleeves to protect all that stuff, please consider using the TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything extra and it supports the channel. Alright, off to a Time Spiraled Remastered Commander. There are old reprints, but I did want to cover some other stuff. I've actually reached out to a friend to give me one of his deck lists because he does really good budget builds. It's like a personal challenge to him. And one in particular, commander from that set, is something he's been working on for like the last year and a half. And it's a very good deck. I hope I can do it justice by playing it. So I've reached out to him for a deck list. Until then, though, I'll see you around. Stay safe out there.